Today we're going to talk about volume, and specifically we're going to focus on prisms, rectangular prisms, triangular prisms, and cylinders. Before we start, let's talk about the difference between area and volume. Area is of two-dimensional figures and uses square units. So the square pictured there is just two-dimensional. It has a length times a width. And to figure out the area, we say that it's units squared. Volume, however, is three-dimensional figure. It has a length, a width, and the third thing is the height. So volume is a three-dimensional figure, and when we evaluate volume, we use cubic units. A cube, and it's three-dimensional because it has a length, a width, and a height here. And that's the difference between 2D and 3D. So if we look at this cube, let's say we want to find the area of the base. Our base is a square, and this area of a square is length times width. But if I want to find the volume, I want to know what can go inside of the cube. I also need to know the height, and that's where our volume formula comes in, length times width times height. So I do the area of the base, which is length times width, and then times how high it is. In this case, it would be 1 unit high. Now here I have two cubes that are together. Again, the area of my base, which was length times width here, has not changed. The area has not changed, but what has changed is the height. Now instead of 1 unit, it's 2. 1, 2. So to change that in our formula, I would have volume equals length times width times 2. And if I went ahead and added a third cube, again, the area of my base has not changed. The only thing that has changed is my height, which is now 3. So same formula, length times width times 3. So far we've looked at prisms, first at a rectangular prism. And to find the volume of the rectangular prism, we did length times width times height. Now, the general formula for volume of a prism is the volume of its capital B times H. And B stands for the area of the base. So it's important that it's capital because it's not just the base, it's the area of the base. And then times the height. So if we go back to our original formula, for volume of a rectangular prism was length times width times height, well, it means exactly the same thing if we write it this way. Area of the base, which is the length times the width, which we have over here, and then times the height. Now we're going to look at a triangular prism. A triangular prism follows the same formula because it's a prism. So it's the area of the base times the height. Now, what the base is a triangle. The bases always name the prisms. So if it's a rectangular prism, the base is a rectangle. This is a triangular prism, so the base is going to be a triangle. So the first thing we need to do is find the area of the base. And I just redrew the triangle so that we can just focus on the area of the base. So the formula for the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height, and our base is 6, and our height is 3, times 1/2, that's 18, times 1/2, so our area is 9 inches squared, because it's area. Now let's go back up to here. We have our B, now we have to add in our H. So now we're going to do volume equals area of the base, which was 9, times the height. So the height of the entire rectangular, the entire triangular prism would be 12. So 9 times 12, and our volume equals 108 inches cubed. Now remember, it's cubed because volume is in cubic units. Okay, so here I have a cylinder, and it's actually a coffee can. It was full of coffee beans at one point, but now it's empty. And I want to find the volume of it. So I want to know how many cubic units can I fit inside of this coffee can, which is actually a cylinder. So the volume for finding a cylinder is the same as the prisms. It's the area of the base times the height. Now what shape is this base of the cylinder? Well, it is a circle. So if we go back up here, we just learned this, the area of a circle. The formula is pi r squared. So here I have labeled our radius is 8. So I have pi times 8 squared, which is going to give me 64 pi. So we figured out the area of our base, which was 200. I evaluated it, so it's 200.96 centimeters squared. Now let's go back to our volume formula. So the volume of a cylinder is area of the base times height. Now we already know that the area of the base is 200.96, so I'm going to fill that in. And now we need to figure out the height. So I already did measure the height, and it's 17 centimeters. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply that by 17 to get a total of 3,416.32 centimeters cubed. And that is the volume of our coffee can, or the cylinder here. Here you're on your own problems. Find the volume of each figure. You have a rectangular prism, a triangular prism, and a cylinder.